Can anyone even see? Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, it's at an angle, everybody. All right, how's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Here's the fucking deal, everybody. I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. I made a fucking movie on a different YouTube page. Yeah, that's right. I have another YouTube page. That's where I put all my film stuff. I have narrative stuff and non-narrative stuff. I got 2 essays that are pretty old at this point. That's where my more intellectual fare can be found, if any of you guys care. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm putting a film on there. Well, it's already up if you're watching this. I put a fucking film on that page, and I have a small built-in audience over there. I have a small built-in audience here. And you people are on YouTube all the time for some fucking reason. So if you got 30 extra minutes, please watch the movie. Please watch this fucking movie. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging everybody, please go watch this fucking movie. Jeez, I started it like almost exactly 2 years ago. It took a long fucking time. Takes place on the mean streets of New York City. You know, if any of you are interested in watching a New York film pre-pandemic to see what everybody's so eager to go back to for some reason, I highly suggest watching it, because it's overwhelming. Anyway, yeah, big art film. Took me a long time. If you are gonna watch it, if any of you are thinking to yourself, yeah, I'll fucking check it out. It's designed for a movie theater. So if you have a big screen, watch it on there, turn the lights off, don't hit pause, and make sure it's like really loud. You know, if you have like speakers or something, yeah, turn the speakers on, and don't adjust the volume either. Once it's at a decent level, leave it there. Because it's a very loud film, but it's supposed to get that loud. It's supposed to be like live music or something like that. Whatever, doesn't matter. Seriously, if anybody watches it, I appreciate it. I know I sound mad for some reason. It's because I am. Long day at work. And also, I don't like doing the shameless plug thing. So, there we go. It's out. If anybody wants to watch it, go fucking watch it. And for those of you who haven't turned the fucking video off saying, oh my God, he's already fucking sold it. Stick to the comedy, asshole. I also have another Shameful, sorry. That was my shameful plug. I have a Shameful story. That's really funny. Or maybe it's not really funny. Anyway, I'm going to tell everybody about the single worst hangover of my entire life. And I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible, because otherwise I'm just going to elaborate too much and it won't be funny anymore, like I'm doing right now. All right, so this story actually takes place like a couple weeks maybe before I started making this film that I'm touting. And it takes place with the main actor of the film. Oh, by the way, if anybody is still watching this fucking video, Mason is in it. Joel makes a cameo. Those are the only 2 people you'll recognize, presumably. But yeah, if anybody can spot Joel in this video, I'll give you like $15, because you're never going to be able to find him. There you go. Watch the movie to find wherever he is floating around in it somewhere. Anyway, so this story takes place a couple weeks before I like started writing this film, and it takes place with the main actor of this film, Emmanuel. I don't know how it came about, but he's like, come on, man, let's go out one night. And I'm like, okay. So I plan to go out with him in Williamsburg, because that's where he works. And we're going to we're going to get a drink. And that day at work, I was working at a moving company at that point. That day at work, I had not been able to find a replacement driver for the next day. You know, all the fucking drivers we had on staff were like, nah, I don't really want to work today, or I don't really want to work tomorrow, or I can't work tomorrow, or whatever. For whatever reason, nobody was fucking responding, and this one kid, I'm not going to say his name, this one kid who was supposed to be working that day, hit me with a text that morning. He's like, sorry, man, I'm doing a comedy gig in Atlantic City. Can't show up. I'm like, first of all, you're not fucking funny, okay? This comedy career of yours, never gonna take off because you're not funny. How do I know that? Because I fucking looked at the kid's YouTube channel. Anyway, so this fucking asshole, this comedian, cancels on me, which is like the 18th fucking time he's canceled on me. I don't know why I'm still giving the guy work. It's because I need him, right? I'm desperate. I'm desperate for a driver for that day. Meanwhile, you know, everybody else can't do it. And when nobody else can do it, guess who's called into the field? Guess who's got to go behind the wheel of the fucking box truck? Jackie G does. And so I'm signing off that day, and the entire day, you know, I'm like, I'm going out tonight. I'm probably going to have a couple of drinks tonight because I've been known to toss one or two back, and I can't fucking find anybody to replace me. So I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I already knew it was going to be a long night because no one spent all day trying to get somebody to fill in, and no one can do it. And so at a certain point, I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go. I'm going to have a great time, and I'll fucking do this gig tomorrow because it's not the biggest gig in the world, you know. It's like, you know, I got to drive there, you know, and then we're moving like 300. We're moving a small apartment down two flights of stairs and into an elevator building. So on paper, the job is like more or less pretty painless. There's 3 of us, painless. So I go out that night, and Emmanuel and I get together. We have a couple beers, you know, we have like, you know, it starts pretty light, like, hey, well, how's it been going? You know, have a couple beers, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about movies. We're talking about art, you know, the whole fucking thing. And then we're on our way to the next bar, and then we're on our way to get food, and on our way to the next bar, and then by the end of the night, like, I know his entire life story, he knows my entire life story. We're just fucking shit-faced, you know? And I knew this was gonna happen, you know? And we had, like, the best time. We had such a good time, you know, just fucking drinking and smoking cigarettes, and we were just fucking shit-faced. So by the end of it, you know, where I lived at the time in Brooklyn, down in Flatbush, I could take a bus from Williamsburg to Flatbush, like one bus. It was a local bus. There was no select. Oh yeah, there weren't any select buses, so I gotta get on that. So it's like a 45-minute ride home. I'm fucking drunk as hell. I'm on the bus, and I'm sitting there, and suddenly, you know, the second the fun dies down, and I'm like, all right, see you, man. The second the fun dies down, I'm left to like confront the fact that I'm like drunker than I've been in years, maybe my entire life. You know, at this point, I didn't realize that, yeah, it was the worst hangover of my entire life. So I'm just drunk as fuck, you know, my head between my knees on the bus, like every 2 seconds, I'm like, trying not to fucking retch. And finally I get into a state where I'm like, I'm not, you know, because I'm totally fucking nauseous. My head is already beginning to pound. And I'm just like sitting there, I'm not moving. I finally kind of like doze off a little bit. I'm comfortable enough to just like sit there. And yeah, next thing I know, like I wake up, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm at my stop, you know. Or so I think. I get off and I'm like, what? You know, I don't recognize anything around me. I have no fucking idea where I am. And from Williamsburg to where I was in Flatbush, I knew everything there. I didn't know what came afterwards. So I get off the bus, you know, after sleeping my way through this nauseating trip, and I'm like, I have no idea where I am. You know, so I start walking the way the bus came from because it's a straight shot, and I'm like, okay, well, if I just keep walking, I will presumably get home eventually. Start walking, and I'm like, you know, just so fucking pissed, drunk, nauseating that I can't even stand. I'm like, I gotta go sit down. So I slump down on this like random stoop and just hang my head down. I'm like, okay. And I just try to collect myself for like literally like 30 minutes. I was the drunk guy asleep on some random stoop, and finally I wake up. And in the distance, I'm like, as a subway station. So I fucking stumble over to the subway station and go down, and I find that it's only like 3 or 4 stops away from where I was supposed to have gotten off. So I go down, you know, I pay my fare. Thank God I'm all right. Things are moving. And, you know, this is late enough at night where the fucking cleanup crews are like hosing down the entire station with bleach and ammonia and whatever else. So that's just going right up my nose, straight into my goddamn headache. And I look at the, you know, at the sign that tells me when the train is coming. And lo and behold, it's like 35 fucking minutes away. You know, it's something ridiculous. And I'm trying not to think about tomorrow, you know, because I'm like, this is just going to be a fucking, I'm in it now, you know. It's not even like, oh, tomorrow's another day, blah, blah, blah. Like, I already know from now until like 24 hours from now, it's going to be a continuous stream of consciousness. And I was correct about this, right? So I fall asleep, fucking fall asleep at the station. I'm the only fucking person there. Fall asleep, and finally the train comes, and I take like 3 stops, and I stumble my way home, and I pass out on the couch. And then, you know, I close my eyes, and with like 20 minutes later, it seems like my fucking alarm is going off. And I am not any less drunk than I was like however many hours ago. My head is just fucking spinning, you know. The headache is like insane. Like, it feels like a vacuum cleaner is sucking my eyeballs out. And already, you know, it feels like I just stumbled through the door 20 minutes ago. Already, I am stumbling back into the fucking subway. Is this thing recording? Okay, good. All right. I'm stumbling back into the subway, and I remember that trip, you know. I remember standing there on the subway platform, like fucking waiting for the thing to come. Like, and at a certain point, just like saliva dripping out of my mouth. Because I was at that point, you know, where I thought I was going to barf, and my jaw is like producing saliva. I'm standing there fucking like 7 in the morning. And so I get to work, and I'm the guy fucking driving the truck. I'm the guy driving the truck, and I'm working with, I'm just gonna fucking drop names. No one knows who these people are. I'm working with Vince, and I'm working with AJ. Vince is like this 50-year-old vet of the moving business, right? And he's like there at the lot smoking his fucking Newports. I'm like, dude, I cannot be around that fucking smell. For any of you people who like smoke cigarettes while you drink and have woken up with one of those like rusty, like nails in your skull headaches, you know how fucking horrible it is to realize, to reckon with, that the fact that your headache was caused by smoking cigarettes. You know, it's a different type of hangover. And when you smell that, and of course fucking Vince is a goddamn fucking chain smoker, so he's like smoking at the lot, smoking in the truck. We get in the truck, and the other kid, AJ, we're meeting him at this spot, which is up on like, it's beneath the park, so it's got to be like between 45th and 55th, you know, somewhere in between there. And I'm fucking riding with Vince, who's like born and bred like Queens dude, and so I fucking put my GPS up, start driving. He's like already giving me shit. He's like, Jack, come on, man. The GPS, are you serious? I'm like, Vince, shut the fuck up. Seriously, just let me fucking, you know, I'm just like, I can't even fucking talk. I can barely keep, I clearly remember driving with one eye because my fucking head hurt so bad that any excess light was just like penetrating every fucking nerve in my head. And, you know, so of course I'm fucking driving, you know, like down Tillery, like through Brooklyn on the bridge. The whole time Vince is just like, yeah, man, so I took my fucking grandkid to get Chinese food. Chinese lady's real nice to me. You know, she's been teaching me some Chinese and blah, blah, blah. And he's just like fucking talking. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up, please, God. And so we get into Manhattan, you know, we're going through Chinatown. We turn up onto like, I don't know what fucking road. It's like 6th Avenue or something, 5th or 6th Avenue, like towards the left side of Manhattan. And just like every fucking block, we catch every single red light. So we're going, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. We're on like East 10th or whatever, you know, we're just going up incrementally, and we have to get like 55 blocks uptown. And something is clearly going on. Like, this is not usual traffic. I'm like, what? And this is when I'm starting to become conscious of, like, just how shitty my day is going to be. I'm driving, I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening, you know? Every single block, like, it's taking, you know, we're already so fucking late for this job. I got the fucking couple, like, hey, you were supposed to be here like 45 fucking minutes ago. Where are you? And I have to explain to him, like, traffic is horrible. Sorry, traffic is just absolutely horrible right now. And then lo and behold, we get to like fucking 20th or whatever. We get up into the 20s and Vince is on his phone. He's like, the UN convention is in town this week. And it just happens to take place in a circumference exactly like, I don't know what they were doing. Like, the UN building is way over on the east side. I don't know if it was the entire city, but we were definitely like on the west side, you know? So there was something going on over there. It might have been a hotel they were staying at. I don't fucking remember, but that's what it turned out to be. The UN convention was in town that fucking day and everything was shut down, you know? Like, every block was being like surveilled and there was cop cars everywhere. And so suddenly I'm fucking drunk as fuck. You know, I have this residual drunk going on. I'm hungover as all fucking get out. And suddenly there's just cops everywhere. You know, we finally get to where we need to be. Like 55 fucking blocks uptown. It took forever. We're finally where we need to be. And suddenly I got a fucking cop knocking on my door. Sir, we're going to need you to step out of the vehicle. We're going to need you to lift the box up. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? So I get out of the truck, I'm like, and there's like, suddenly there's like German Shepherds like sniffing me and sniffing Vince, and they're all over. There's like 3 of them on fucking leashes, like checking out the truck. Sir, we need you to open the fucking back of the truck. I'm like, what the fuck are you? So I'm throwing open the back of the truck. We're lifting the, you know, like the seats of the box truck. We're lifting that up. There's fucking dogs inside of the truck sniffing everywhere. There's cops talking to Vince. Vince is talking to the fucking cops. Everybody's checking our bags. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I'm way too fucking hungover for this. I wasn't even supposed to be working today, you know? It was that whole fucking thing, and I'm just losing my mind. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, the world is swirling around me. I'm on the verge of throwing up at any goddamn second. There's 3 fucking German Shepherds, one of which is sniffing my goddamn crotch, you know, digging his fucking nose up my taint. I'm like, ugh. Finally, we get through. We're like, look, we're moving a house like literally a block away. So finally, we park, and I get out of the truck, and it was like a cold October or November or... No, it must have been like fucking March or something. It was like a brisk morning, but I remember wearing a t-shirt because I remember the breeze, at least the breeze felt good. And then AJ shows up, and AJ's there wearing the same clothes he had worn like for the past 3 moves or something like this. And I'm like, you know, that like body smell, like 3-day-old body smell. It was just BO, 3-day-old BO plus my fucking hangover. I'm like, dude, you gotta get the fuck away from me. So finally, I'm like, oh, God. I just know I'm in for a long day. You know, nothing against AJ. He was not a great kid. He was a shitty boy. He sucked. But at least, like, he had fucking character, and he was good, and he was doing well for himself. And so that's great. But I did not enjoy working with the fucking guy. Because he would just disappear. He'd disappear, and then he comes back, and he's, like, smoking a cigarette, or he's got, like, Applebee's or something. I'm like, dude, there's not even an Applebee's within like a mile radius. Where the fuck did you get that? And why were you doing that while we were supposed to be working, right? So we start the gig. I go upstairs. I got Stinky AJ on one side of me. I got Vince, you know, reeking of cigarettes on the other side of me, fucking drying off his bald head. I'm the foreman, you know, so I'm the guy who's got to talk to like the young chipper couple who are moving. They're like, hey, you're 45 minutes late. It's okay. It's okay. Totally fine. How's everything going? You guys want like a coffee or something? And I'm like, I just need to send a good paper and then we'll start work. So they sign the thing. And it's not even like, there's very few items in this apartment, surprisingly. But it's not fucking 2 stories. They're like, yeah, it's a 2-story apartment. It's like 3 stories, basically. It's one stairwell, and then a mini stairwell, a second mini stairwell, and then a third full-on stairwell. And it's like this weird fucking like midtown building or whatever. And so the ceiling on the stairwell, you have to like duck beneath. The whole thing was totally claustrophobic. There's no ventilation whatsoever. And so clearly within 30 minutes of working, the entire passageway turns into a fucking sweat lodge. I'm breathing in stinky AJ fumes. I'm breathing in goddamn Vince nicotine fumes. And I'm like the headache has reached its it's one of those headaches where no matter how many headache pills you take, the thing just persists, you know? It's just encapsulating your entire body. My headache is at fucking peak performance, and I'm breathing in these fumes. I'm just nauseous every step of the way. And then, of course, the entire time I'm going downstairs, my knees are just totally fucking shaking because I'm too weak to be doing this kind of stuff on the day after being totally hungover, you know? Like, I'm like sick, you know? I got like gross hangover chills. And so we're moving. I remember at one point I'm carrying this fucking filing cabinet down the stairs, and the guy who is moving is standing there in the hallway watching us move. Now, if you ever hire movers, don't fucking do that. Don't be the guy who's standing there like observing them as they're working, because you're just gonna be so disappointed by the service you're getting. I was like carrying this like half-size filing cabinet down. I remember just like walking it into a wall, just totally gouging the fuck out of a wall. I'm like struggling down the stairs, and suddenly I just fucking slam into the wall, and the corner like digs into the drywall. And I turn, and the guy's just staring at me, and I'm like, just continuing down the stairs as if nothing fucking happened, you know, which eventually turned into a fucking thing. But basically we do all that, and then at one point I go upstairs, and the entire apartment smells like shit. You know, it smells like fucking feces, and I can hear the toilet running. And so on one hand, I'm like, you know, that's just another disgusting smell that's adding to this nausea that I'm feeling. But then I had this moment of clarity where I'm like, well, Vince and AJ have been outside for the past 20 minutes, and the guy has been in the hallway the entire time. And it's just the girlfriend standing there like, hi. This tiny, like 5-foot girl, couldn't be more than like 27 years old or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God, this fucking girl just shit, and it stunk up the entire apartment, you know? And I was so ready to have to be like, AJ, Vince, what? You have to know that you can't be shitting in other people's apartments and then leaving the door wide open to fucking fumigate the entire place. Luckily, it was this tiny girl who had shit, which was kind of funny. I don't know, that seemed funnier than my head. Anyway, finish everything up. I'm about to fucking die. And we get to the other place, and it's an elevator, and it's a little bit easier. And, you know, at one point, fucking AJ disappears for 20 minutes, and he comes back eating like literally Applebee's chicken fingers. I'm like, dude, where have you been? Where did you get that? Why are you going to Applebee's for fucking chicken fingers? I get that they're good, but that's not like a place that you go for like quick food. I'm like, what? Fucking weird as hell. Anyway, sign the paperwork. The guy's like, okay, so the filing cabinet is fucked, and you smashed our mirror, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, just all sorts of shit is broken, because Vince is like, every time Vince is on a job, he fucking breaks something. AJ either steals the stuff, Xbox 360, which he definitely stole, or smashes everything to fucking pieces for some unknown reason. You know, I shouldn't have been giving the kid work, but I needed like people that day. Of course, he broke something, and I gouged the wall with the goddamn filing cabinet. So then that ended up coming out of our goddamn paychecks. And then the tip we got, the cash tip we got, was like 40 bucks, which isn't bad. It's not great, whatever. I got a $40 tip. Drive back to the lot, get on the subway, and go home. I'm just like, never again. I get out of the subway, and there's a Burger King right there, and I'm like, and I've been thinking about this all day long. Like, for some reason around that time, I had been really into getting like the fucking rodeo special or whatever it's called from Burger King, which is like this 8-pound burger and or grilled chicken or fried chicken sandwich that you can order. And the shit is just out of this world. If they still have that, I recommend everybody fucking gets that goddamn thing. And my girlfriend at the time took pictures of me on the couch after this horrible day, which I'll include if I can find them, of me like absolutely Hasselhoffing these 2 chicken sandwiches, just like hung over as fuck, like digging into these things in my underwear on the couch. I'm just like fucking beet red. I'm clearly still like sweaty from the job. And that was the worst hangover of my entire life.